Let's get after it and talk about the election. I'm going to go over the swing states and the what is a swing district now that actually matter for the 2024 election for President Trump and for President Biden. Now, for some of you, you might already know the math, so this might just be a good refresher, or it might just be something that you share with a friend or family member to help them understand where it is that both Trump and Biden can win based on the electoral math that's out there for the 2024 election and the states that are likely, or most likely at least, to flip one way or the other. So let me pull this up right here. We're going to look at the Real Clear Politics polling average for today, May 14th, 2024. And you can see here the spread on every single one of these states is Trump leading by a little bit. The closest state is Wisconsin, with Trump up 0.6%. And then you have Michigan with Trump at 0.8%. Every other state, Trump is winning by at least 2 points, Pennsylvania being the next closest. So you can imagine that the Biden administration and the Biden campaign are not feeling very good about these numbers. North Carolina, now it's on there, and it's the second highest behind Nevada. Somehow Nevada's number one, which is crazy to think that that state, which had gone against Trump 2 times in a row and has been pretty reliable blue for a number of years now, is actually the state that's polling hardest for Trump. But that said, the state of North Carolina, I think, was pretty close the last couple of years. Let's be realistic. If Trump loses North Carolina, he's going to lose a lot of these other states, and he's not going to win the presidency. So that state, while it's on there, I think it's pretty safe in Trump's category. For the sake of this video, put it in the Trump column, because realistically, I just don't see a path for him to win the election if he were to lose the state of North Carolina. So the one thing that's not here, so I'm going to go over to 538 and show the polling averages here. And this is from April 24th, 25th. And this has Trump winning the state, or I'm sorry, the second congressional district in Nebraska. And why that's important, I'll show you in just a minute with the math. But you see he's +3 when it's just him and Biden, and then when you add all the other candidates in there, he's still +3. So that was a district. For those of you who don't know, really quick, the state of Nebraska and the state of Maine are the only states that are not winner take all. So if you get the popular vote in that state, you get 2 electoral votes, and then each congressional district assigns 1 electoral vote. So in the state of Maine, you have 4 total electoral votes. You win the popular vote, which Biden is almost certainly going to do. He's going to win 2 electoral votes. There are 2 congressional districts. One usually goes for Biden and one usually goes for Trump. So Biden will pick up one of those and Trump will pick up one of them. Now, Nebraska is the same thing. They have 5 electoral votes, which means they have the winner take all for the 2, which is the popular vote for that state. And Trump's likely going to win that, almost certainly. And he's going to get 2. And then there's 3 congressional districts. Trump typically wins 2 of them. Biden wins 1 of them. So it's kind of a wash between the 2 states. However, the way that it's polling right now, it's showing that this congressional district is up for grabs, and there is a chance that President Trump could win that from Biden. And there's a certain scenario out there, which if you're following, you might already know that scenario, where it could lead to an electoral tie. So let's take a look at the map here. What I did was I gave every state that went to Biden and every state that went to Trump in 2020, and these states went for Hillary in 2016 and went for Trump in 2016 as well, to those respective candidates, with the exception of Nevada, only because the polling in Nevada is so unbelievably strong right now for Trump, which was a reliable Democrat state. So there's now 6 states on the map that I have as toss-ups, as well as you will see here in the split votes in the right-hand corner. Nebraska Congressional District 2 is now in the toss-up category. So I think the most likely scenario, guys, I just don't see a path for Trump to win without winning Georgia. But that said, he's pulling very strong in Georgia. I think he's, of the states that went for Trump in 2016 that he lost in 2020, Georgia is the most likely to flip. The polling suggests that as well. The betting odds suggest that as well. So when you look at his total count here, he's got 235 electoral votes. And if you throw Georgia in the Trump category, Now you're at 251. Both sides know that this is a likely scenario, which means the math is very simple here. The state of Pennsylvania must be protected at all costs for Joe Biden. Why? Because if Trump wins Georgia, which seems very likely at this point, none of these other states even matter. The congressional district in Nebraska doesn't matter. Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, they don't matter because you need 270 to win. He would be at 251 with the state of Georgia and the states that he took both in 2016 and 2020. You give him the state of Pennsylvania, he's at 270. You can give all the rest of these, Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and the congressional district to Joe Biden, and he comes up 2 electoral votes short of becoming president of the United States. So my point in saying that is that Pennsylvania is going to be protected at all costs for the Biden administration. Watch the money that flows in there. But with Georgia being very likely to go in the Trump category, there is several other paths for Trump, because if you see, he can pair really any of these 2 states together and win, or in a certain scenario tie, with the exception of Nevada. So if he pairs Arizona with Wisconsin, or Wisconsin with Michigan, or Michigan with Arizona, whatever he potentially could do, even with losing the state of Pennsylvania, Trump has other paths. Biden basically has to run the table in order to do so. What's important is that the polling right now is more favorable for Biden in the northern states and Trump in the southern states. So if you were to give Trump Arizona and Nevada, and then give Biden Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and the congressional district number 2, Biden gets there just by winning the northern states, holding on to those states. He can give up the southern states, so to speak, and as long as he holds on to that congressional district in Nebraska. But that's where the congressional district becomes very interesting, because again, you need 270. Biden would be at exactly 270 if he loses all the southern states that are in play, but he would end up with 269, and so would Trump at 269 if all of Nebraska goes to Trump. So that congressional district, which was being talked about, the state of Nebraska was talking about making it a winner-take-all state. That doesn't seem realistic at this point. It was just kind of some groundswell from Charlie Kirk and company to try to get it to be winner-take-all before the election. I don't think that there's a realistic path for that to happen now, given the time before the election. We're about 6 months out. So there is an actual path to a tie in the Electoral College, and that would be Trump would have to flip Nebraska congressional district number 2, and then take the southern states, which he's polling the best in, which is Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, and hold on to the states that he won prior to that. Now that would be absolute chaos. It would then go to the House of Representatives, and I don't think many people know this, but in the House of Representatives, it's not who has control of the House. So if you think the Democrats are going to win the House, like, oh, well, they'll select Biden, or the Republicans are going to win the House, they'll just select Trump. That's not the way that it's going to work. How it's going to work is that each state is going to get 1 vote. So the state of Wyoming will get 1 vote. The state of Hawaii will get 1 vote, so on and so forth down the road. Doesn't matter if you're California, doesn't matter if you're Rhode Island. These states are going to get 1 vote. So right now, as it's currently constituted, the Republicans have a majority of the states where they have the majority of the representation from that state. So if that were to hold, even if they give up some seats in, say, New York, or give us some states or some seats in a state like California, whatever it might be, they can lose the House and still end up winning the presidency in an electoral tie, because it's each individual state. You figure a state like Wyoming and Idaho and Utah, those states, again, not many electoral votes, but they will get 1 vote for the president. So I don't think that that's super likely, because I think in all likelihood, if the momentum is on Trump's side, he's probably going to end up back in the White House. But it is a scenario that people have to keep in mind, and I wanted to point that out to everybody, just so they knew that was a possible scenario. So how is the 2024 election going to shake out? Nobody fully knows, but I can guarantee you this: if they are the Biden administration, that is the Biden campaign team, if they're seeing Georgia slip away, continue to be this Trump +5, Trump +6, whatever it might be, they are going to pull out all the stops to win the state of Pennsylvania, and watch Trump try to take that away from Biden as well. He's going to pull out all the stops to win that as well, because that's the election, folks. That's it. It's over. If Trump wins Georgia and Pennsylvania, it's all over. There's no other path and there's no other math for Joe Biden to win the presidency in 2024.